everyone, my name is Gabby and it is finally May. That means that it is the release month for the 7th season of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So if you don't know, about a year ago I started watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for the first time as I was starting to really get into the MCU, and I absolutely fell in love with the show, and I just had so much fun binge watching through the first 5 seasons and then watching the 6th season as it was airing, that I knew that when the 7th season rolled around, the final season, that I'd want to make some videos on my channel talking about the show, maybe reviewing some of the episodes as they air, maybe filming live reactions to them as they air. We'll just kind of see what my plan decides to be. But I figured that to celebrate the release of the 7th season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is coming on Wednesday, May 27th, that I would film a video sort of talking about my thoughts on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. thus far, and then wrap up with talking about some of my theories and predictions for season 7. And so I essentially put together a whole bunch of different prompts to answer to sort of give you an idea of some of my thoughts on the show. So without further ado, I'm gonna dive right into answering these prompts and getting into discussing the show. So if you haven't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. yet, there will be spoilers in this video. So the first question is pretty easy, and it's who is my favorite character from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This was an easy choice for me, and I had to pick Deke Shaw. Now, let me say this. There is a lot of people that do not like Deke, find him annoying, and just have no interest in him as a character. I think you all are wrong. Look, you're entitled to your opinion, but I love him as a character, and it makes me so sad every time I see people hate on him because I'm like, you just don't understand him. You just don't get it. I'm kidding. Like, you're allowed to have your own opinions on the show. Like, I'm not saying that, but it just makes me sad that I feel like there's a lot of people that don't see the nuances in his character, that don't appreciate his character the way that they should. Because I think he's a fun character, and I think he is one of the first morally gray characters that I've seen in a while that I actually like, because I feel like a lot of characters that are similar to Deke on other television shows or in books or whatever are normally just really unlikable. Like, there's nothing redeemable about them, and they're just not interesting to watch. Deke as a character is really fascinating because he grows up in this world where it's every man for himself, it's kill or be killed, and so he is sort of not used to the idea of having a family, and then he meets the S.H.I.E.L.D. team and he sees the loyalty that these people have for each other, and it's something that sort of, I think confuses him a little bit. He ends up wanting to become a hero, does make a self-sacrifice, ends up then in the quote-unquote real world or in the main timeline of the MCU, and now suddenly he wants to be a part of this family. Like, these people are stuck with him now, and he wants in, he wants to be a team player, he wants to be able to be a part of this family, and a lot of the other S.H.I.E.L.D. members just want nothing to do with him, or just not interested. You see, he's really smart and he has all these knowledge, and just if people didn't overlook him, like, he could be a real asset. The moment that like absolutely got me in the season 6 finale when Mac calls him Agent Shaw, like, I was in tears because I was like, finally his character is getting the appreciation that he deserves. And I feel like season 7 is gonna be a good season for his character. I feel like we're gonna see lots of development, and I'm just so stoked for every moment, every minute of it, because I love his character so much, and I think he is this morally gray character that does a lot of really shady things, but he's still a fun character, and I think there's lots of room for growth and redemption in his future. I think Jeff Ward, who plays him, is fantastic and just so fun and sweet and lovely. He has made this character just absolutely a favorite for me from season 5 to now, hopefully, season 7. Moving on to my favorite season, which is season 3. I think this season is my favorite, personally, because from beginning to end, I'm invested in what's going on with the characters and the world and in the plot lines, because with all the other seasons, I feel like there's one plot line that I like in the show and then another plot line that I'm like, about, and I start to just lose interest or just not feel as compelled with a certain storyline. But for season 3, I was just invested entirely. I think a large part of the fact is because it's entirely focused on Grant Ward as a character, him trying to rebuild Hydra, and you get to see a lot of growth for his character, and Brett Dalton, who plays Grant Ward, is just so fantastic and does such a good job at bringing that character to life and developing Grant Ward's storyline and narrative and just making him so unlikable, and you just want to hate him, but you also just find him so compelling at the same time because he is just so menacing. Like, it's so fun. And then seeing Grant Ward turn into Hive and seeing what that does to Phil Coulson. It's just a whole ride, and I feel like the entire time I was just invested and just so in for all the twists and turns and craziness that was going on, that for me personally, it had to be my favorite season. It was just so thrilling and fun. Moving on to my favorite episode. As a Deke Shaw fan, this should come as no surprise, but I think one of my favorite episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is Code Yellow. So this episode is completely meaningless, has nothing to do with the development of the 6th season as all, but it is the reintroduction of Deke Shaw into the 6th season, and we pretty much get to see what he's been up to in the real world. He's basically started this tech startup by stealing S.H.I.E.L.D. ideas and devices and marketing them as his own, and yeah, it's not the best. He's dating this girl Sequoia, who's basically like an Instagram influencer, and Marissa Tancharoen, who is one of the showrunners for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., plays Sequoia and just does such a wonderful job, and her character in that episode is just great, and you see that he's sort of out of the loop with everything that's been going on, and so he gets brought back into the S.H.I.E.L.D. world. But I love this episode so much because there's so many really beautiful comedic moments. Jeff Ward breaks the fourth wall, and I just swear I died in that moment because it was just everything. It was a fun time, and I feel like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was due for like a fluffier, lighthearted episode, and I feel like we got a few of those in the 6th season that were sort of filler episodes that were really just focused on character development, and I personally didn't mind that because I thought those episodes were good and they were fun to watch. There was like a Fitzsimmons episode that was like that I really enjoyed. I thought Code Yellow was fun. Mark Kolpak directed it, and I think he did a wonderful job, and I like loved so many of his directorial choices, and I just thought this episode was a good time, and it's definitely one that I would go back and rewatch multiple times over. Moving on to my favorite Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. storyline, and this has to be the framework. The build up to the framework is insane. It is just so intense, and just, it's a total mind bend. Like, you just absolutely have no idea what's going on because everyone could be an AI or a robot. Like, it's just, it's nuts. It feels like what an apocalypse situation would be like, and it's crazy, but I can't imagine how much fun that must have been to write because it is so chaotic. Once you get into the framework, you have this situation where everybody in the framework is essentially the opposite of who they actually are in real life. Like, you get to see Fitz as the doctor rather than his actual self, and Ian DeCastiger is the doctor. Like, that is just some of the best acting I have seen from him, and the development there was everything. Like, I was just in love with it. I liked that it redeemed Grant Ward as a character without actually redeeming him, and to bring Brett Dawn back onto the show because so many people love him and he's such a big part of the S.H.I.E.L.D. family, so it was a great way to bring his character back, and I think it was a great way to redeem his character without actually having to do it within the actual plot of the show, because I think keeping him the big bad was a smart choice. It felt like it was so high stakes because you want all of these characters to get out. You also want them to like wake up and realize like this is a simulation. It's fun, and it's entertaining, and it was just felt like it set up so many things for the future of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because it was just total chaos, and I love that, and it was fun to get to see the writers get to play in that world. So we're gonna get a little bit more serious now with this next prompt, which is, what is your favorite line of dialogue from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? And so I chose a little bit of a more serious answer, and it's the steps you take don't need to be big, they just need to lead you in the right direction. And I feel like this is a quote that for me, I really resonate with, because I always feel like I see all these people who have like maybe thousands of subscribers, or they're doing interviews with this person or that person, or they're hitting all these milestones that I see for myself that I would like to accomplish. And sometimes it feels so frustrating because I want to get there, I want to be at that point, and it feels like I have to jump through all these hoops until I'm able to get there. And you just kind of wish you could be there already, that you just don't want to go through jumping through the hoops anymore. You just kind of want to be there already, and sometimes you need a reminder that your timeline is not somebody else's timeline, and just because someone is accomplishing something that you want now doesn't mean that you won't get there later. And I need that reminder sometimes, and so it's just waking up day by day, doing what you need to do, and knowing that if you work hard, if you take the steps you need to take, and you make smart choices, that you'll eventually be able to accomplish your goals and you'll be able to get where you want to. But it takes some hard work, and it takes some time, and it takes some patience. And I think within the context of the show, it was really beautiful, and it was that quote that made Deke and Gemma both realize that they were related, and that was a really beautiful moment. That scene was a really beautiful and endearing scene, and it makes me so upset because they ruined it with Gemma just randomly vomiting at the end. Like, the scene was fine. Like, they could have ended it, and then she just threw up, and I was like, why did we need this? Like, you ruined it. It was a beautiful, endearing moment, and you ruined it. Moving on to my favorite fight sequence from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and that has to be the fight sequence between Ward and May, and I believe this is after Ward is revealed as Hydra. I don't remember what season this is in because I feel like everything is blended together, and it's been a while since I've went back and rewatched some of the episodes. Hardware tools that are used in this fight sequence, if you know what fight sequence I'm talking about. And it feels like such a great moment. In my mind, at least, it's the beginning of Melinda May starting to knock down a lot of these walls and barriers that she's built up, and she just kicks his ass, and it's so great to watch. It's such a great fight scene. It's one of the earlier ones, but I just love it because it's so powerful and just packs such a punch. There's so many great fight sequences in the show, but for some reason that one always sticks with me, so it's always gonna be my favorite. Moving on to the most heartbreaking character death, 3 down here because there's a lot of heartbreaking character deaths in this show. I have Lincoln's death, and I think a large part of that is because Chloe Bennett just did such a good job of really tugging on the audience heartstrings with this scene where Lincoln is in the aircraft and it blows up, and it's just, it's really an emotional gut punch, especially because you really grew to love his character throughout the 2nd season, and it was just so sad to see him go. Coulson's death in season 5, him walking onto the beach, it felt so sad knowing that all of these fans tweeted out this whole thing to want to have Coulson revived and have him back after he was killed off by Loki and the Avengers, and then, that worked and we get Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then 5 seasons later we end up killing him off again, and it's like, we worked so hard to solve this, and here we are again anyway. And it was really frustrating and really sad, but it was a really emotional send-off, and I think it would have been a perfect way to wrap up this show had they not gotten a 6th or 7th season. But I am happy that we're seeing Clark Gregg back as Phil Coulson in this 7th season, and I'm thinking that we may get the real Coulson back in season 7. That's a thought, but who knows. And then May's character death in season 6, obviously she's back for season 7, and we fixed that because nobody ever really dies. Her death, thinking that she was gonna be with Coulson again and Felinda, and it was just, I was sitting on my bed watching my TV, watching the season 6 finale, and just screaming into my pillow. I felt emotionally wrecked after watching the season 6 finale. It was a whole dread of anxiety and just fear and just what is going to happen. It was rough to watch. So all 3 of those were, not great. So to wrap up this video, I want to talk about some of my thoughts and theories for season 7. This season looks so good. I'm so excited for how they're gonna wrap everything up. I feel like I'm gonna be so sad by the end of it, and I'm so scared to see how everything ends. I just feel like I'm gonna feel so emotionally depleted by the time the 7th season ends, but I'm so excited for it. What we know so far is that there's time travel involved, and that we are going in to the 1940s, 1950s, and we are gonna be back in the Agent Carter timeline, and Enver Zhokak, who plays Agent Sousa in Agent Carter, is going to be on this season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know if he's gonna be a reoccurring character, if he's just in a few episodes, but Agent Sousa is gonna be joining the S.H.I.E.L.D. team, and I'm so excited for it. It gives me hope that we're gonna see Peggy Carter, so I'm stoked about that. Essentially, the big pitch for this season is in order to save S.H.I.E.L.D., we need to save Hydra, and I feel like that's gonna take us back to Winter Soldier, and it's gonna take us back to where all of this began, and it's gonna be an emotional time, and I'm just so curious to see what that means. But my immediate thought is if we're dealing with Hydra again in this show, you know who that reminds me of? Grant Ward. So you know who we need to bring back? Grant Ward. So you know who we need to see on this show? Brett Dalton. He is such a large part of the S.H.I.E.L.D. family, and I want him back so badly. I absolutely just, am convinced that we're gonna see him again, and when we do, I will, not stop crying. I will just cry, and my eyes are already watering now thinking about it. But, I mean, there's nothing that suggests that he could be back, but there's just a part of me that's in my gut just knows. I just want it so badly, and I'm gonna manifest it. I think we're gonna get Felinda I love Felinda, and I think we're gonna hopefully get to see some of them. My favorite ship in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is Felinda, if I didn't mention that. I hopeful we'll see some Fitzsimmons in season 7 as well. I don't know if we're gonna see Deke and Daisy together. Personally, I don't ship it. I just feel like we haven't gotten a lot of development there, and just Daisy does not seem to care for Deke. So unless we get a significant amount of development there, I don't know if it's gonna happen. If it does, like, I'll be fine with it, because I'll probably grow to like it as they develop towards that, but who knows. And I think there's gonna be lots of chaos and plot twists and crazy things that will just keep me guessing and make me really sad once the show is over, because I'll know that I'll immediately want more. But I'm excited to see what the writers have in store, and it's gonna be a fun time. I'm so excited to freak out about this show with all of you in future videos. But I think that's about it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to leave any of your thoughts down below on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., let me know. Do you have a favorite character, a favorite season? Are you excited for the 7th season? Do you have any predictions? Let me know. I would be very interested to hear your thoughts. But that's about it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to follow me on social media, all my links are in the description. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to stay updated for when I post new videos. Give this video a thumbs up, I would appreciate it. And hit the bell button if you want to be notified for when I post new videos. Think that is about all the self-promotion that I need to wrap up everything here. So I hope you have a wonderful night, and I'll see you next time with a new one. Goodbye!